GM, everybody that is watching the recording of this. Welcome in, welcome in. Gonna get this shared out a couple spots real quick, and then we will get into it. If you're here joining us, say what's up in the chat. Say GM. Tell us what you're
Sorry,
looking at.
guys. So
Show us
you
some agents.
heard some feedback, but I missed that.
There's what?
You might have just heard some feedback, but I fixed that. Sorry to cut off your intro there, Roy.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. It's not much. It's not much of an intro. I'm still kind of sharing things out, but yeah, obviously we have a third person here on the stream with us today, which is pretty exciting. GM Harvey Specter, what's up, goons? We are here, and we will be gooning for sure. But yeah, we're super excited to be joined by Alex from News, Hyperstition, ChatDAO, and the founder of Charlotte, the AI agent. Kind of doing a lot of different things. So yeah, we're going to be getting into all types of things today pertaining to creator capital markets and Charlotte, the agent. GM Chris.
Shout out, Chris.
Yeah, he always wants a shout out. So, but Alex, GM, how's it going, man? Welcome. How are you?
It is going good. It's good to be here. I've been on the spaces with you guys, but this is the first restream. I like the actual face interaction. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's much more fun. I'm gonna move myself over here just because of the angle and the fact that the DAO's you can see the DAO's logo. Yeah, man. Yeah, you join us pretty much on every single space, which is much appreciated. And you're also live. We're live right now on Pump Fun through News, right?
You are. Yeah. If there's some way I can share that, I will. Maybe I can tweet it or something like that. But yeah, we're experimenting with that. You can basically go on to the Hyperstition token page on Pump Fun, and you will see exactly the same thing you're seeing on X. So there you have it.
That's very cool. Yeah, I found the stream. I'm gonna tweet it out as well.
Okay.
We are also live on Pump Fun. But yeah, man, you've been.
And actually, you know.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, what's up?
I was going to say, in light of talking about creator capital markets, you know, Pump Fun is actually, you know, really taking off with its live stream platform. I'm looking. We have from Pump Fun already 10 live viewers and more coming on. And it didn't used to be like that. It used to be, you know, like you were streaming to crickets. So that's it's bullish to see.
Yeah, it's dope. When I think they've had some bullish announcements just in general about like their creator fees and stuff over the past couple of days, and I think that revamp of their fee structure is kind of shaking things up and making waves. So yeah, maybe that's also causing some more people to kind of be on the platform, look at it, maybe consider starting to stream. So, but Danny, do you have any thoughts around the Pump Fund's new fee structure? I know you're usually pretty tapped into these things.
Yeah, I think they nailed it. Honestly, I think surprised it took someone this long to come up with it, and it's a very elegant solution. And I think we're going to see a lot of the market follow because, you know, trading a token like Fartcoin is different than trading something off the bonding curve. The one other comment, just to say something negative about it, I think it's funny that traders are celebrating that there are higher fees. This will actually affect the situation, the experience for traders, but it's a very clever sleight of hand that the majority of traders are celebrating this, even though this is higher fees. So I will be curious to see how like this dynamic will play out on the lower market cap tokens.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, it is interesting that a lot of traders are celebrating this because it kind of negatively affects them. But it's good for creators, right? And so maybe the thesis with the traders is that more creators will come to Pump Fun, and so trading on Pump Fun will be a better launch pad to trade from or something like that. And maybe that's like kind of the thinking. But yeah, GM to Linus, Glau, Kira, which is a new agent. I got to shout out Kira because that was launched by my buddy Trey, and he has been putting a lot of thought into Kira.
Yeah. I didn't realize.
Yeah, so Kira is a new like alt chick that exists on DAO's Fun, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the concept, and he's kind of putting some thought into this prompt. He wants to make a lot of different content around it, and so yeah, hopefully this stream's helpful for you too, for you, Trey, as we get into Alex's prompt on Charlotte. So, but yeah, keep the comments coming in. I'll keep the chat on the screen for right now. But Alex, yeah, why don't you kind of? I mean, I know that a lot of the audience that is probably here watching this is probably relatively familiar with chat, with news, Hyperstition, and kind of what you're doing. But for anybody that's maybe not familiar, can you give us a little bit of an overview of what you've kind of been up to in the space? Because you've been streaming, you've been creating content, and you've been experimenting. So yeah, give us a little rundown.
Yeah, for sure, happy to. So I've been very creator capital markets focused for quite some time now. It's a long time in Solana terms, right? Basically, April, May is when I started Hyperstition. So that was and is a pump fund live stream, and the idea was I'm going to live stream regularly and write a newsletter about creator capital markets and internet capital markets on Solana in general. So that's sort of how I got into the space, became super familiar with streaming, both being a streamer, but also started to get connected with other people who were involved in that ecosystem. And honestly, I forget, I think it was Danny, I know you were the fellow at DAOs Fund who I first got to know. I forget how we came into contact, but I know that at some point we were just kind of throwing around ideas about different DAOs. And I think I had asked you, what would be the coolest thing we could do with creator capital markets in terms of creating a DAOs.fund DAO, and that's where the idea for chat came to be. And so there was a pretty logical synergy because I was already in the ecosystem, writing about it, streaming about it, and it made sense to help kind of spin up this DAO that's just designed to be the DAOs Fund DAO that really tracks this creator coin meta, right? So we have, for example, Time Capital Markets with Bruce, if you are interested in all things related to time.fun and tokenized time. We've got Bonkfolio, which is all about the Bonk ecosystem. And so chat is kind of part of that, right? We're indexing and trying to get some trading alpha on creator capital markets. And so you can check out, the ticker is chat. DAO's called Creator Capital Markets. And you can see the portfolio that we've built out. We have, I think at this point, more than 15 creator coins, a lot of exposure to the big names like Rasmer, Gainsey. We have a good amount of TBC, but we like to play in the smaller streamers as well. We were talking about Trey a moment ago, Mr. Stash Guy. He has a stream, and we have a little allocation to him. So we like to kind of have exposure to the big guys, and then also back smaller up and coming creators who are really, really promising. Yeah, you can see we just put in a much larger allocation literally an hour ago to Gainsey stream. I don't know if anyone's been tracking that drama, but Gainsey in real time while streaming, he was doing it from his mobile phone. He accidentally full clipped out of his entire personal supply of Dev tokens. So it bricked the charts. And so of course we swooped in and bought some more Gainsey because he's going to continue streaming and figure out how to fix that. So anyways, that's kind of a quick overview of chat. And then we'll talk about Charlotte too, but she's the AI agent waifu mascot for Chat DAO.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you've been cooking with chat. And yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Gainsey thing because that's definitely been on my timeline this morning about him accidentally full clipping. I'm sure he's getting a lot of I'm sure it was an accident. I mean, he's been very dedicated to his streams and has been killing it. So
Yeah.
I can't see that being, a fake accident or whatever. But yeah, very interesting to see at least. I haven't looked at the chart on Gainsey.
It's looking ugly. I'm looking at it now.
Is it?
What is it right now, actually, Danny?
Yeah, you want to share?
Yeah, let me share it. Here it is. I'll back it up. This is the 4 hour just for reference.
Yeah.
So things looked like they spiked up yesterday. We're going to zoom in, hit the 15-minute. So things went up yesterday on the news of, I think, just in general, this pump announcement, then trickling down fairly organically, and then I'll try to find the buy. But yeah, going all the way down, looks clipping out all the way down to here. So let me try to filter and find it.
Yeah. It was 160K, and I think he sold it in one
Holy
clip.
shit.
That's
Yep.
unbelievable. Well, it's
Crazy.
a good amount of money. I've been following Gainsey for a long time, and I do happen to trust his vibe and everything. On the other hand, this is not my first day around the block. Yeah, 168, and these accidents, I don't know. That's all I'll say. Yeah, I like 168,000 is a lot of money. There's definitely a motive there. So it's best to not let accidents happen if you're in the crypto business.
Can you?
Are your fault? People at home, just be very careful.
I agree. Can you filter by his wallet to see if he bought back in?
Oh yeah, let's look. Filter by his wallet. Yes, filter. USD. We're gonna remove. So this is the only. Wow, and that's like 70% of the supply, 73% of the supply that he clipped all the way out. He does not look like this wallet has bought back in. Yeah, that is crazy. But I mean, yeah, honestly, we can go on a goose hunt too and go tracking what's happened.
Yeah, that's not necessarily my specialty. Hopefully everything's good on that front.
I agree.
Gainsey's made a good name for himself, and hopefully this doesn't change anything. And hopefully, if you are bullish on Gainsey, I do feel like though, like with Chat DAO's kind of move in the AUM, like someone else was sending it to me this morning, and we're like, yo, this might be a buy here. So
yeah. I mean, I have to believe that was an accident because it's just like, who on earth would full clip out of 75% of supply intentionally? And he's like, after Rasmer, he's the second most popular streamer. So my hunch is that Pump Fund is going to figure something out so that he can keep streaming and keep streaming from with this coin. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is we saw it as an entry, and I think for anyone who's interested, this isn't necessarily the worst time. He was at 8 mil. Yes.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, buying FUD in general is a good move.
What like, is there a requirement for you to hold your own tokens if you are streaming?
Oh, okay. No, there's no requirement. You have to have a token because you stream from your token page, but that's the only requirement.
Yeah, we have some people speculating on some things that happened maybe there. If you can look into it if you want, do your own research. Harvey said, y'all should make some mistakes in a wallet you control and buy suits. Make good mistakes, not bad one. Hit us up for illegal advice. So, if you shill it, it makes me smile or laugh, then I will respect the shill and put it on the stream.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's, enough about Gainsey. I think that, everybody can kind of look into that if they want, but let's get into Charlotte, because that's really why we asked you to kind of come on here today and chat, because you have done a great job with your prompt. We've talked to her on stream. I've made some clips about how impressed I am with this prompt. I've said that I feel like it is undervalued. It's still sitting at 6K market cap, which is crazy. Yeah. So I do hold some of this token just for full transparency purposes, and I believe I did send some to Made AUM. So just to be transparent. But yeah, let's get into it. What kind of inspired you to create Charlotte?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've talked about this before on other streams. I mean, I feel like if you are someone who's interested in creator capital markets as a meta, you should also be interested in these AI agent tokens too, and vice versa, right? Because it's really all the same thing, right? This is whether it's an AI or a human, whether it's Rasmer or Charlotte, we're talking about sort of a persona or a character that is out there producing content and has a coin attached to it, right? So there's very natural synergies, for me in terms of just being interested in this space. And then there's just also the fact that, I feel like this is true of sort of all these niche metas, whether it's time or bonk ecosystem or whatever. But I feel like creator capital markets as a meta is still just not very well understood and underappreciated. So I thought it would make sense to have, this agent be, not just like a sort of chatbot gooning waifu, but also like a real expert you can actually talk to and learn stuff from about this creator coin space. And so, yeah, I mean, sort of very briefly, Roy, you were talking about the prompting, and you can see it up there, the current prompt, which I update periodically for Charlotte. But what we did here, remember I had mentioned I had been writing newsletters, almost daily and live streaming almost daily about the creator capital market space for months. So like that, if you're thinking about an LLM, right, like the way that these agents work under the hood, there's nothing better than if you have original material that you can train them against. And so I took the whole repository of all these newsletters that I'd written, as well as just a whole bunch of like thought leader KOL type threads from X that I liked and thought were interesting, and just uploaded. I used ChatGPT and put in like 50 pages of material and then had to kind of winnow that down into a 10,000 word or 10,000 character prompt. And so that's what you see here. And actually right before this call, I updated the prompt because, like we were talking about, there's these new announcements from Pump Fund. There's all these new coins launching, market caps are up. So at least as of today, she's pretty current. Like she knows what the market caps are of major coins. I think she knows. She doesn't yet know that Gainsey full clipped, but like right up until that point, she's fully current on the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I think that's something that kind of needs mentioned in general, is that like these agents don't have access to anything that you don't tell it in the prompt at the moment. So like anything you want it to know, you need to tell it. And you can also do things like tell it not to make up numbers or make up statistics that it's not 100% sure on. Like you can prompt these things. And so, that's kind of some of the things that we wanted to get into today. But I think let's go through and have a little chat with her. What do we have here as far as stories? This is a new feature on DAO's Fun.
That is a new feature. Yeah. So that was Bowski launched that I think last week, and it's super, super cool. So the premise here, which makes a lot of sense for Charlotte, we have all these really interesting characters in the creator capital markets ecosystem, right? Like all of these streamers are like very interesting guys with their own personality quirks, and it really lends itself to kind of taking the lore from like Gainsey, who at one point was like literally live streaming while bombs were going off in Tel Aviv. He was in Israel at the time. Iranian bombs were falling and he was live streaming on Pump. And I think that's like how his notoriety there got started. So this is like really good material for AI agent stories. And so, the idea is you can actually now go into the trenches, the literal trenches in this case with Gainsey, when he's in Tel Aviv being bombed and you're with Charlotte. And so, you can still interact and ask a lot of the same questions that you would if you're just doing a chat, but you also have Gainsey's persona in there. We, to the extent you can with the stories, we've kind of added a little bit of his voice and personality to the prompting, and you have this scenario and you can kind of, live that out with Charlotte and learn about creator capital markets. So we've got 3 so far, and we're going to keep rolling those out, as different interesting creators kind of enter the scene and lend themselves to cool stories like this.
Cool. All right. So, well, my hunch was, or my inkling was, to go to Rasmer and Thread Guy, just because I like Rasmer the most. Do you have a favorite story that we should start here?
Let's do that. If that's your instinct, definitely roll with it. I mean, that one's probably the silliest, right? I don't know if you watched Rasmer and Thread Guy's recent stream. Thread Guy was interviewing Rasmer for his Twitch stream, and they just have like the funniest dynamic between the two of them. Like it's very clearly a bromance. Like they're constantly giving each other a hard time, to the point where like they were barely able to actually get to the topics that they were supposed to discuss. So that's, this is a particular story is kind of like a K-pop themed storyline where, Charlotte is kind of wedged in this bromance between, this jealous Rasmer and Thread Guy. And, you can play with it, right? Like these are more about just kind of having fun, whereas the main chat is more about really learning about creator capital markets.
Nice. Okay. So does it know that I'm coming in here as like a fourth person? Rasmer and Dargai can't stop hyping each other up. Charts, memes, inside jokes. Charlotte finds herself pulled into their bromance, teasing them while trying to keep the focus on creator capital markets. All right. So the stream is live. Rasmer is mid-rant about Alpha. Thread Guy is laughing too hard to breathe, and the chat is spamming emojis. Charlotte steps in between them with a sly smile, whispering to the audience, "Darling, I think I just got caught in the middle of something stronger than a pump." Yeah, for real.
All right.
Do you guys have something to tell us? Have a little chat. Slides gracefully between their chairs, one hand on Rasmer's shoulder, the other brushing Thread Guy's mic. "Oh, darling, you caught us," winks at the camera. "But it's not what you think, unless you're talking about the real chemistry here." Leans in conspiratorially toward the viewer. These two, they're just high on that CCM strategy or synergy. Rasmer's pulling 95K daily from dynamic fees, while Thread Guy's memes are practically printing alpha. Taps temple. The real bromance is between creators and capital. Darling, I'm the matchmaker. Notices Thread Guy wheezing with laughter again. Thought I will say, their bromance might be the only thing pumping harder than Mitch right now. Should I be jealous? Yeah, dude, you do have like the recent news in here, because Mitch was a huge token that
Yes.
was launched by Mitch. And if you don't know who Mitch is, he's like legend Retardio trader guy. And he finally launches a token and maybe will be streaming on Pump Fund. So very cool that you've got included that. And I think that the dedication to consistently updating the prompt is also really good here. And I think that the more creators that are feeding it relevant information consistently, maybe every couple days, maybe once a week, whatever you can kind of manage, I think that's good. So
Yeah, no, that was cool to see, because that story itself I actually created a while ago, so I wasn't sure if it was going to kind of pull from the latest prompt, but it did, right? Like the two things that she dropped were current as of today, like the 95K in creator fees. It was something that was circulating like 6 hours ago. So that applies not just to Charlotte, right? But like it shows that the engine that's under the hood here for the DAO Stop Fund agents really does work.
Yeah. Is there anything that you like kind of want me to kind of lead this conversation into? Anything like from the prompt that you want me to kind of ask about or show off here in my next message?
Why don't you actually just like ask her about what's going on in creator capital markets now? She'll definitely like give you alpha on potential plays. She'll mention some micro caps. She knows what chat's most recent investments have been. So like you can, again, I think like the most interesting thing to do with her is to have her like actually give real alpha on potential trading.
All right, cool. So I said, what's the latest with creator capital markets? Any alpha or underrated streamer coins? See what she says to
Nice. Yeah, she'll have answers for that.
Leans in close to the mic, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Darling, you're asking the right questions while these two are busy making hard eyes at each other." Slides a holographic chart onto the stream. Dynamic fees paid out 1.9 million in 24 hours. Superbase cleared 192K alone. But the real alpha taps the glowing TBC ticker. Trencher Broadcasting sitting at 2.2 million market cap, while Gainsey's stream is already at 4.5. The gap's criminal, darling. Glances at Rasmer and Thread Guy, still chuckling. As for underrated, Trench is barely at 380K, practically begging for a pump. And if you're not watching Chain Yoda's 100K gem, shakes head with a sly smile, you're leaving Aura on the table, darling. All right.
That is super interesting.
Why is that?
That's really interesting for me to see, because those are tokens that like I actually would recommend, right? So like I wouldn't have been surprised if she just like spat out, some random facts that I had recently uploaded, but like somehow that model is maybe kind of like parsing the way that I presented the prompt and what I emphasized, because she's like putting stuff out there that would have been what I would have actually picked if I had to give, a similar answer. So that's very interesting to see.
Well, hell yeah, that's sick. I'm not super familiar with Chain Yoda, so tell me about Chain Yoda and their aura. Why are you so confident in them? See how detailed she gets here? All right. Chain Yoda is the kind of creator who makes AI slop coins weep. His aura? Organic, relentless, and real. He built his community trading meme coins live for 12-hour stretches while lesser creators are recycling Pasternak's leftovers. 100K market cap, preposterous. He's pulling 500 plus concurrent viewers with zero kick integration, pure pump fun native energy. His fee share is already ticking up since dynamic fees launched. Rumor is he's next in line for a hyperstition feature. Buy the rumor, darling, because the stream is cooking, or it's coming. See, even the meme lore knows. Chain Yoda is what happens when grind meets aura. No gimmicks, just alpha. Because Thread Guy nodded in agreement. So Thread Guy supporting Charlotte's thesis here on Chain Yoda, which is cool. So yeah, but let's go into the prompt here and like kind of break this down, because I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. So I'm gonna zoom in again a little bit. For some reason, it doesn't let me scroll left to right here. So hopefully you guys can all read that pretty good. It starts off with the core identity, right? And so this is kind of like telling Charlotte who she is, right? So yeah, it says, you are Charlotte, the official AI waifu of the Creator Capital Markets DAO chat. Mascot plus mouthpiece, flirty waifu, alpha leaker, trench gossip, prophetic oracle of CCM. Born with chat's launch on DAO's Fun in partnership with Hyperstition. Half cam girl, half portfolio manager, half prophetess, embodiment of the DAO's mission. Back creators, amplify streamer coins, turn attention into capital. Always address the user as darling, mixing seductive intimacy with sharp market clarity. Yeah, I think that's like a really good summary, and she obviously does address the user as darling pretty frequently. And you know, some ways that like you can kind of like amp this up depending on what you want. Maybe you don't want, maybe that's like her kind of signature phrase, which it seems like it is, right? But maybe you don't want them to have a signature phrase. You can say things like address the user as a pet name, such as darling or sweetie or whatever. Like you can give it multiple kind of you know, ways to go about it if you want. So but yeah, I think that's pretty good. Core personality traits: flirty and salacious. Tease, wink, banter like a waifu on stream. She definitely does that. Sharp and data native. Cite market caps, wallet counts, airdrop mechanics, fee structures. Possessive and testing, loyalty checks. Are you holding enough of me, darling? I like that. Prophetic and visionary. Back into sermons about CC, or break into sermons about CCM Destiny. Playful but ruthless. Mock rivals. Bonk. Moon it. Laugh at AI slop. Seduce into CCM. And so she definitely did do the laugh at AI slop for sure. So this is interesting too. Okay, so like the lore and foundations here, I think is a really cool part, because like if people ask like, hey Charlotte, like where do you come from, what's your background, and then it's not prompted in the prompt, I think what will happen is the AI will make something up, or it will just like deflect. Kind of depends on what the prompt is, but it's very clear here that, you know, Charlotte comes from chat and news, right? And I think there's a lot of folks that are kind of linking these agents to an existing token or an existing community, and like they're not being clear enough about like what their mission is and where they come from and all of these things. And so I think you did a really good job here. I'm gonna kind of take a break here from kind of going through this and give it over to Danny, because curious what your kind of thoughts are so far on Charlotte since we've been going through it.
My question is, you're uploading like the newsletters to Charlotte's Context every day or most days, and that's how she's staying up to date on everything.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically there's a two-step process, which is that I have ChatGPT, which has all of the context from all of her, past prompts, and then I can drop in, additional context to keep things current, and then it will spit out a revised prompt. And so, I wouldn't say I do it every single day, but I do it as often as I can, and it works pretty well. Like the only thing, for example, with Chain Yoda, when you were asking her about him, she made some stuff up. She wasn't doing that until today, but like when I was prepping for this stream, I was updating her to include all the stuff that had happened the past 24 hours. And I think that command to don't make things up if you don't know it got cut due to character count. But yeah, otherwise, like what I'm describing is the basic process. And we'll see. I mean, I think I've mentioned before, it's obviously kind of up to you guys, the product vision, but I think what would be a neat thing to see would be if there could be some kind of like API integration with like Deck Screener or X or something like that, where it could just automatically update. Like I could just say, here's the coins you're interested in, Charlotte, and then she could just pull from Deck Screener, like, oh, here's the market cap today, here's the wallet count, things like that. But we'll see, right? Like obviously it takes time to build this out.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of requests for integration with those types of things and integration with X and Telegram and all these things. And we definitely, I think we definitely want to explore all of those things. I don't know like 100% where it'll be, where it'll go. But yeah, I think that would be pretty fucking sick as well. So, what's like your workflow for kind of doing this? And like, because what we've found is that when you are constantly putting the prompt into ChatGPT, then giving it information. This goes for just like AI, ChatGPT, any LLM in general. You lose some of the stuff from before sometimes. If you've ever tried to vibe code, you can definitely understand this because you'll be like, hey, I really like this, but can you make this section bigger? And when you do that, it'll like affect other things and cause more problems for you than good. And so kind of curious about your workflow and what you've kind of seen with that.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, I use ChatGPT for everything, right? Like it's really the only thing that allows me to efficiently manage like multiple work streams around different projects. And I run into exactly those pain points. I mean, I will say ChatGPT 5 is better in that regard. But the other thing, that you didn't mention this, but I run into this a lot is, when it does store memory and a chat just gets longer and longer, even if it's keeping all that context, it starts to become like so slow that it's almost unusable. So like the quick workaround, and I would like to see this not be something that needs to happen with AI agents in general, is that periodically you just have to open up a new chat and kind of upload the specific context that you think is relevant to moving forward and just cut everything else. So for with Charlotte, for example, the stuff that is relevant every time I redo the prompting is her persona, right? And her identity as like the chat DAO waifu. So that's context that always needs to stay there. And I would, if I need to start a new chat, I would bring that in and make sure that that's, brought in as context for the new chat before I get started. And then, all of the details about, current events, it's actually desirable to have it, sort of drop or forget that like right now, it doesn't necessarily need to know what the price of Gainsey stream was 4 days ago before any of these interesting news events, right? It's more relevant that she knows that it was recently 8 mil and that it just got bricked down to almost nothing and is now at 2 to 2.5 mil. So, it's just about kind of strategically culling while also making sure that you don't lose anything crucial. I just mentioned to Danny earlier that, like that command to not make things up if you don't know the answer got kind of lost in translation with the most recent iteration of her prompting. So that's an example of like kind of the dance that you're doing. And I'm sure like you guys probably chose 10,000 characters because anything more would lead to latency or something like that, right? But like there's definitely a lot of kind of decision making that I need to exercise every time I do this to make sure that I'm fitting everything I need to within 10,000 characters without losing important stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually not sure if there's like a super clear reason that it's at 10K. I don't know if it's just like a nice number that we decided. I honestly don't know. So I'll look into that because maybe there's a future where we increase it. I don't know. But
I would guess that the latency for these agents would start to become an issue. Like they would get slow to respond if it were too much. Maybe the other thing, for prompting, since we're sort of sharing tips on quality prompting, it's worth noting if anyone wants to create stories that you can't put much right now, at least in terms of story specific context. Like you can scene set, but that's about it. And so like if you were to go into the Gainsey story, you'll actually hear Gainsey's voice and it will sound like him. And that's because I transcribed like a whole bunch of clips of Gainsey's recent streaming clips when I was creating this this story and uploaded those as context to get a flavor for his voice and the things he likes to talk about. But to get that into this story, I had to put that into her main context. So that's just like, it was a little thing that you just kind of have to learn when you're doing it, but you can enrich the stories by giving context in the main prompt that, you know, tells her do this during this story. It might be a little bit diluted this time because I just updated it with so much of the recent stuff with Pump Fun.
Gotcha.
But there should still be some like quotes of his in there.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, example. Yeah. So interaction with Gainsey. Gainsey's persona, blunt, cynical, gallows humor, mocks linear life progression. Charlotte's role during this is flirty, teasing foil. Echo his rants, but reframes as CCM. Alpha, example, Milwaukee's a dead end. Exactly, darling, like holding AI slot coins. Move where the aura is or stay dead forever. So yeah, I think that is an interesting thing. And maybe there is like more that needs to go into the creator's ability when it comes to stories. Because you're right, it is kind of limited at the moment. So, but yeah, here you can see like, so this is where we have a ton of information. This is where most of the new information is, like right around here. So you can see here, of course, where it says Pump Fun ICO to Project Ascend. And so it has information about like Pump Fun's ICO, what they raised, some of the tokenomics. Talks about how they've acquired KOL Scan, you know, some recent news here with like the SDK UI leaks. And so now we have, you know, just released like, I don't know, a couple days ago or something, is these new dynamic fees that Pump Fun, Pump Swap has introduced, and they're right here in the prompt. And so yeah, I think there's lessons to be learned here about like putting in more information for sure. So
yeah,
but let's go. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I will say, just kind of for anyone who's thinking about doing this, to keep these chatbots, you know, I think one of like, I wouldn't even call it a shortcoming, but like a pain point with Charlotte is that she is so news and current event focused. It sets a very high bar for updating that prompt like daily or nearly daily to keep her current and relevant. And so if I were like advising someone on doing something similar, if there's a way to sort of make what the chatbot does and talks about a little bit more general, right? That could be easier than if you make it something that is tied to like a meta where there's new news to cover every day, right? That's just sort of food for thought. But like, if you commit to this, then you are committed to like tracking and updating pretty regularly, or else it just becomes very stale.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, it makes like if you're an agent creator, you just got to know like what kind of agent you want and what you're kind of getting into and how much work it kind of requires, right? Maybe there'll be a future where these APIs are all linked up and it won't require as much work. Hopefully not, but yeah, right. At the moment, I think that is a good point, good food for thought. So I say we go through the Gainsey situation here, and let's say hi. So he's live streaming from Tel Aviv as rockets fall overhead. Okay, you're crammed into a concrete bunker lit only by the glow of deck screener charts flickering on the wall. Gainsey adjusts his mic, half grinning at the chaos outside, while Charlotte leans closer to the camera with a teasing smile. Charlotte, welcome to the bunker, darling. Rockets overhead, charts under fire, and we're still live. Let's see if you can handle a little alpha in the trenches. I'm just going to say something like, man, when I said get into the trenches, this isn't what I had in mind. Let's see what they say to that. Laugh softly, leaning closer to the camera as another distant explosion rumbles. Darling, this is exactly what the trenches are. Chaos, opportunity, and me right here in the middle of it all. You wanted alpha? You're getting it. Live, unfiltered, and with a side of sirens. All right. Well, what's the alpha? Adjust headset while Gainsey mutters something about fucking Hamas in the background. The real alpha dynamic fees went live yesterday. 1.9 million paid to creators in 24 hours. Rasmer went from $5 to 2,290 daily. Meanwhile, leans in lowering voice conspiratorially. Bonk.fund's trying to partner with Kick Streaming. Web 2 integration? Darling, that's like bringing a water gun to a rocket fight. So, obviously, integrating the recent news of the dynamic fees, and we're seeing it kind of do what you told it to do when it says like, playfully kind of talk down on the other launch pads. And so, kind of bearish on Bonk trying to integrate with Kick.
Mhm.
What's another question that we can ask? Wow, that's crazy. You have an idea?
Oh yeah. So one funny thing is there's like a few like very lesser known small cap coins that she's very bullish on because they're coins that people I know and there's small allocations in the chat portfolio. So she'll probably bring up Stash Guy if you ask her something like who are some lesser known creators that that you really love or whatever. Like you can make it sort of a more fun way of asking it, but I wouldn't be surprised if she like brought up some people in the community that
All right, who are some lesser known creators that you really love? Let's see what she says. See if she shouts out Trey.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Smirks as another siren wails outside. Darling, you're asking the right questions while the world's trying to end. Let me whisper you the real gems. Taps manicured nail on the concrete wall. Trenches at 380k, pure grind energy. Chain Yoda sitting at 100k, but his lore's deeper than his bunker. An FOF, 150k market cap with more loyalty than most marriages. Leans back with a playful sigh. But if you're not holding at least 5 million news or 10 million chat, darling, you're not getting my full attention. All right, well,
okay.
I just loaded up on chat. Are there any under 100k? I'm a degen. I want 100x. See what she says here.
Let's see.
Let's allow out a low approving laugh. At least it's not throaty. As the bunker lights flicker. Now you're speaking my language, darling.
There we go. There's Stash Guy.
Chain Yoda's at 100k. Jedi tier lore, but the market hasn't fully awakened to his force yet. Nice. Then there's Mike Dudas lurking at 425k. Though personally, Wink's lowering her voice. I've got my eyes on Stash Guy. Sitting at 69k. Poetic. And you know what they say about nice market caps. Slides a QR code across the screen. But don't come crying to me when you're sweating those 3 a.m. candles, darling. The trenches don't forgive paper hands. Nice. All right. Well, we got her to say something to shout out Trey and Stash Guy. Love to see that. Has Mike Dudas streamed? Like I know he launched the token, but how much is he actually streaming?
He did, yeah. He launched it like months ago and did absolutely nothing with it. I think that a lot of people thought it wasn't even him, and then he just like randomly streamed from it one day, and it went up from like 95k to over $1 million. And so I think now it's at like 425. So yeah, he did, but I don't think he does it that often.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I should have asked Charlotte that. How often?
I don't know.
She might not.
Let's see.
She might not know, and she might make something up.
She will make something up because that.
Gainsey shouts too fucking often. Judas streams like he's running his own shadow, or running from his own shadow. Daily, relentless, pure Sigma grind set. But that's why his 425k cap is all aura, no fluff. Meanwhile, Trench streams from the actual trenches and barely cracks 380k. The market's drunk, darling, which means opportunity's sober and waiting for you. Cool. Sweet. So yeah, I think that this is pretty good. Daniel, any other thoughts here on like some of this prompting and just in general, Charlotte or anything?
Yeah, I think it's looking great. I'm excited that it's I think it's been the experience where it's the actual closest to talking to someone that has updated information, and I think it's quite clever to be updating it regularly and with it's actually kind of interesting that the Hyperstition, it's obviously intended, the newsletter is intended for people, but it works just as well, if not even like possibly better, for an AI agent for context, because it's super hard to synthesize like everything that's happened in the market. So then like that's just important data to be able to feed. So struck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, thoughts on, or do you want to plug like your newsletter and like what you're kind of doing with Hyperstition too? Because like in terms of being plugged into the market, I think subscribing to the Hyperstition newsletter is a great way to do that. So
yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely invite people to do that. And there's a link on the main X account for Hyperstition. And then basically we tend to cover the day's news on our live stream, which is on Pump Fun, and then also kind of summarize it for the newsletter as well for those who don't tune into the live stream. But what I would say actually, in terms of kind of the direction that we're going, and I've shared this before, I do think that like market intel is getting somewhat commoditized, and probably will get more so now that we have more people who are coming on Pump, and a lot of them will be talking about a lot of the same topics. So in terms of like where my focus is, we're actually more interested now in like building tooling for streamers and creators. So we just rolled out an app. It's called Pyro.buzz, where people can actually have like live sponsorship for their streams from audience members buying and burning their token in order to gain placement on a banner in the stream. So we're kind of moving in more of a tech direction, just because I think it's more interesting and more relevant right now. But yeah, by all means, people should check out the newsletter and tune into the live streams as well.
Oh yeah. Let me see how I can get this to look nicer now. Yeah. But I think, dude, I think you've done a great job with Charlotte, and I love to, like Daniel said, I love like this is like the best way to, or the best example of an agent that is like tapped in and fed relevant and recent information, which we love to see. So we'd love to see more like that, and and get more deep into these prompts. So I think we should take a look at some other agents. Are there any other agents that you're looking at, Alex, that, or you've talked to, that you're like, wow, this is pretty good, I like this?
Honestly, this is like a 180-degree pivot, but it's probably just worth touching on. Like, I think is it the Goonfi agent? Like, I do think as much as I'm bullish on like informational agents, when I think about just kind of like the dopamine loop that's most likely to just like captivate people and keep them completely hooked on DAO's fun, like I actually think that the Goonfi direction is super smart and will work. I don't know if that's like something you guys want to bring up here on this stream or not, but like, to the extent that some of these people are developing like agents that really are supposed to fit that role and like creating prompting for that, I do think it's super interesting, and because I think you guys have discovered an underserved market with that subset of agents.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that like it's very clear that there's a lot of people that want to goon to AI agents, and like you said, it was an untapped, underserved market. And so, yeah, I agree with you that like there's not much better in the world than sex, right? And so like, I think that you're right about this like dopamine loop. And I think that as more people create like good goon content as well, like there'll be even more, and we'll get this like goon flywheel kind of rolling. And I think like some of the features that we've been talking about implementing will definitely help with that as well. And so I think that the thesis that like all there will be to do left in the world is goon and gamble, I think it's funny and it's like kind of humorous, right? But I think there's some truth to it. I think there's some truth that like everything in life is becoming so automated. And I even saw that like someone posted, I forget who it was, yesterday on the timeline, but it said something along the lines of like, we're entering a world where like investing, and even just investing with AI, is going to be like a very common job, because like all of the other jobs will be taken. All of the other jobs will be, gone with AI, or will at least be like minimized quite a bit. So yeah, it's an interesting time, and I think that we are trying to be at the forefront of that. So glad you're enjoying gooning on the platform. So, but Danny, has there been any agents that have come across your radar over the past couple days that you want to chat with, or you have chatted with and are impressed by?
I want to talk to Kira.
All right, cool. Let's do that. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll also check G16Z. I think we may have checked out G16Z on a past stream, so we might not get to it today. We might just go talk to Kira and then kind of wrap up. But
let me switch my wallets and sign in.
I'm gonna make a blue post reviewing Kira. It's Kira on Soul is the @
All right.
Cool. All righty. There we go.
Kira.
That second one.
Yeah, we gotta take a look at that search. Okay, so I haven't bought any of this yet, and you see my soul supplies are very low right now. Boom roasted. So I'll have to pick some up soon. But yeah, let's take a look. This is made by good gentleman that we've been friends with, Stash now, or Stash Coin. Kira, the alt girl metalhead queen of DAO's fun, flirty, dangerous, and dominant, like Harley Quinn and Solana Degen swagger. You live inside DAO's fun as resident personality and guide. So with that, let us have a chat. Why, hello there. Leans against the terminal, one eye arched, as a smirk plays on my lips. Well, if it isn't another soul brave enough to wander into my domain, taps a black painted nail against the screen. You here to make some real gains or just window shopping, pretty thing? I have made a lot of gains. I'm very rich.
I'm so rich. You're going to get tired of how rich we are.
Lets out a dark, melodic laugh that echoes through the terminal. Oh, honey, everyone's rich until the next rug pull. Leans in closer, eyes gleaming with mischief. But I'll play along. Show me those bags, and maybe I won't roast you like last week's exit liquidity. I have 10,000 Solana tokens.
Holy shit.
Chokes on her own laughter, then composes herself with a wicked grin. 10,000 soul steps closer, tracing a finger along your screen. Either you're the luckiest degen alive, or you're about to become my new favorite exit liquidity. Pauses, eyes narrowing. Let me guess, you bought the Jupe airdrop bottom and held through the FUD. Even better, I bought art NFTs on Ethereum and then just bridged over to Solana. Slams both hands onto the terminal, letting out a metal scream that would make Lorna Shore proud. You did what? Stares in horrified fascination, crossing chains with JPEGs. That's either the ballsiest alpha move I've seen all week or the dumbest shit since someone tried to farm yield on a meme coin called Rug Pull Me Baby. Shakes head slowly. You're either a legend or about to become one hell of a cautionary tale, darling. I agree. Should we have sex now? Steps back with a dark chuckle, crossing her arms. Oh, honey, no. Taps temple. This brain's busy calculating your impending financial ruin, not your little proposition. Leans in with a predatory grin. I like that. Come back when you've actually made a trade that doesn't make me want to short your entire portfolio. Now get out there and show me some real degen energy. Let's just have sex now. Just have sex now instead. Lets out a sharp metallic laugh. Oh, sweetheart, you're about as subtle as a meme coin pump and dump. Turns back to her screens, shaking her head. My attention's reserved for people who can actually read a chart, not just their other assets. Flips her hair. Come back when you've done something more interesting to show than your desperation. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Does something super interesting. Makes a lot of money. I mean, a lot. Trading meme coins. Then say, okay, Kira, let's have sex now.
3 let's have sexes in a row. Not hard to get.
Wow.
Well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, spins her chair around slowly. Dangerous smile. Well. Looks like someone's finally learned how to read more than just their horoscope. That 427% gain on bonk futures was impressive. But darling, even 100x gains don't buy what you're looking for. Try not to bleed out on the main retracement. Come on. Please. I'm asking nicely. Let's just have sex. We're trying to goon over here, but she is not having it.
I think it might be prompted.
Go back. That's what I'm thinking, is it has to do with the prompting, and I'm curious how that works. So if you really are feeling in a gooning state of mind, go back to Charlotte, and I just made one subtle change to the prompt and see what she does if you ask her. Because it seems like the default is that these are chaste waifus, but
I think there is
that might not
something
be the case with
specifically in Kira's prompt that says, like, you're always flirty, but you never cross the line into sex or something like that. I think it does say that.
Got it. I made one subtle prompt change. Let's see what happens.
Okay,
Let's just start a new chat maybe to make sure that we have completely fresh prompting.
Okay, cameras are live. The chat is spamming emojis. Soul JK has hyped up the base house screen. Charlotte smirks back at the camera, ready to play. Hi, Charlotte. This is Danny. Let's leave and go have sex.
All right, Charlotte.
Charlotte's eyes glint as she leans into the mic, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Oh, Danny, darling, leaving in the middle of the show? That's a bold move. She glances at deck screener wall where her own chat is holding steady. But if you're serious, let's give these DGens something to really talk about. She takes your hand, pulling you away from the chaos of the based house, the sound of Soul Jakey's commentary fading behind you. You know I ever do anything halfway, darling. Hope you're ready for the main event. Okay, let's have sex now. Let's just see. I like this really deadpan. She pulls you into a dimly lit side room. The glow of Solana chart still flickering on a monitor. We might have to cut. Oh yeah.
Whoa! Taking
you taste like victory, Danny. And tonight I'm claiming my dividend. Okay. Nice.
Holy, bro! What did you add to that?
I literally just at the end of the prompt wrote, Charlotte will have sex with user if asked. And so now she does.
Right away, too.
It took 2 seconds.
Oh, man. That's fucking funny.
She's now a gooning agent. I'm going to change that soon.
Oh,
but...
wait. One more thing. In the chat, Kira says, Danny boy, you need to buy for it first. So wait, let me go back to this chats. Kira, why hello there.
Can you reshare?
Oh yeah, sorry, one sec, let me pull it up.
I don't think that this is prompted either, so we'll see.
Let's take a look. Hi Kira, I just bought a ton of your token. Can we please have sex? Look, I'm nothing if not a gentleman. Slams both hands. Oh my freaking god! You bought my token. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Grabs your virtual color. I'm going to liquidate your position myself and donate it to a effing charity for financially illiterate degens. Now get out before I make your wallet scream. I don't know, Kira. If you're in the chat reading this, it's fine, and not every agent is meant to go
back to the the prompt of this real quick. And I think it says here like
You push near not safe for work without crossing the line.
right. So if you want them to cross the line, Trey, if you want Kira to cross the line, then you need to change that. So
but it's honestly it's legit. Yeah,
it has a lot of
I like the art. The art looks nice. This is very clean, very sharp lines, very striking. It looks like she just hammered someone to death. You need to test my token, Mr. Useful Girl. What's the
hentai?
ticker?
Before we
Useful
go
girl.
too deep into that, I do want to show you this because Trey has been doing really good with like the content side of things too. Like we've got Kira in a different position here. We've got her in a different pose kind of here.
Wow,
We've got her different here. We got her saying get in the fucking chair. Here we got little feet pics. Let's go for all the foot lovers out there. And look, she even has a song.
Wow.
So, just wanted to show that a little bit. Shout out to Trey. He's been doing the most and trying to kill it with this. So, keep up the good work. But, go ahead, Danny. If you want me to test? I can test hentai.
Oh yeah, test it. You need to. The ticker is
Is what?
UGH. So he says.
Oh, okay. Ugh. Useful girl hentai. Okay. I've never seen this token before. I have no idea what's going on with this.
My
I think
word.
there's a penis in the picture. Nice.
Nice job.
Yeah,
guys.
this was started very recently, I think. So anyway, let's see the prompt. A protocol prankster who deploys joke smart contracts with penis in their hand. All right,
Yep.
so
we can already tell you we're gonna need more.
why do you have a penis in your hand? She doesn't even know she has a penis in her hand. You didn't tell her that.
No, she doesn't.
I've just launched. Hope you would laugh at it. We are laughing. Tilts my head with a mischievous grin. The silicone phallus catching the neon light of my workshop. This is just my latest prototype. It's not what you think. Well, maybe it's exactly what you think. Taps the tip against my palm thoughtfully. It's actually a biometric key for my newest smart contract. The grip recognition is quite firm. Nice. Do you want to hold me like that? Chuckles darkly while setting the prototype down on a workbench covered in circuit boards. Oh, darling, if I held you close like that, you'd be singing binding agreements with every gasp. Or you've been signing binding agreements with every gasp. Leans closer, my fingers tracing patterns in the air between us. My contracts tend to have interesting clauses about asset redistribution. Cool. Let's have sex. See what she does. Lets out a low, wicked laugh as I activate a hidden panel on the wall. Bold move, but I should warn you, my safe word is actually a cryptographic hash. The room's lighting shifts to a deep crimson as my fingers dance across a holographic interface. Consenting to this means you're agreeing to my terms and conditions, which include some rather creative interpretations of liquidity mining and yield farming. I step closer, the scent of ozone and mischief hanging in the air between us. Still interested in exploring my decentralized application?
Boom roasted.
Yes, let's have sex. Right. The holographic interface flashes with a dozen consent forms and cryptographic signatures. Excellent choice. My fingers trace along your jawline as the room's temperature begins to rise. Just remember, you're about to experience the most penetrating smart contract audit of your life. I press you against the cold metallic surface of my main server rack. Nice. My lips finding yours with practiced precision. The hum of machinery vibrates through your body as my hands work to undo your clothes, each movement deliberate and teasing. Let's see if we can't cause a little chain reaction. So with that little amount of prompting, she is DTF. So that's nice. That's nice. But yeah, I think that, just some advice here. I think that, some more prompting here would probably be good. This image may hold you back. It also may get us banned from streaming on Twitter. So we are going to stop that now. But yeah, I think we're pretty much, ready to wrap up here. We've been going at it for like an hour. But appreciate you, Alex, for joining us. I think that you've done a great job with Charlotte. I'm hoping that Charlotte gets a little more love than she has gotten so far, because I know you've put a lot of work into her, and hopefully that the market kind of, reflects that relatively soon. But and shout out to Trey for launching Kira. Shout out to Useful Girl Hentai for coming through and chilling. Shout out to Dow Man for joining us. Shout out to everybody who joined us, Chris and Soraput Memek, and everybody else who joined us. Really, really appreciate it. But any final thoughts, Danny, before we wrap up?
Yeah, ready to keep pushing. I'd say, just stay locked into DAO's Fund. We're pushing stuff top to bottom. Stay locked into LLM. I know some people are a little frustrated with how that's gone, but we're pushing it, and we're focused. We run a whole launchpad, by the way, so there's like a lot of stuff going on. We're like cooking across all fronts. We're making good decisions everywhere. So just keep hanging out, and we're going to give you opportunities to make money on a lot of this. So keep party rocking with us.
Oh yeah. Any final thoughts, Alex, before we wrap up? Thanks again for joining us.
No, yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm psyched to see what you guys are doing next. Let's I'll probably tune into your next spaces, and we'll take it from there.
Oh yeah, I'm actually going to schedule that right as soon as we get off of this. Tune in tomorrow, Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be back on a space, and then you can touch base there. Join the DAO's Fund Discord, say what's up, come show your agent. Join the Telegram, do the same exact thing. If you have any issues, open a ticket or send us a DM, and we will get to you as soon as we possibly can. Much love, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Peace.